Let's check in here with the latest on what is our water and, of course, what is happening because of the Middle East. The Washington Suburban Sanitary Company, WSSC, says that it's temporarily reducing the level of fluoride that has been added to the area's drinking water. They say it's due to a nationwide supply chain challenge caused in part by the conflict in the Middle East. WSSC supplies water to nearly 2 million customers in Montgomery as well as Prince George's counties. We've got national water quality expert Razgaitis joining us here with all the latest. Raz, what do you make of what's happening here with WSSC deciding to lower the level of fluoride in their water?
Well, I think it's interesting from a global supply chain perspective, and that's really what we're dealing with here is the conflict in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz and the conflict that is occurring as a result of the war that's ongoing. But in terms of the practical implication for the citizens of Montgomery and Prince George's County, it is a non-issue. So fluoride levels are being temporarily reduced because a result of a supply disruption of fluorosilicic acid, which is one of the components that go into the fluoride treatment. It's being reduced from 0.7 milligrams per liter down to 0.4 milligrams per liter. And so speaking as somebody that's studied this for years, as well as a dad of 2 daughters, this is a non-issue. We could talk about some of the ways that you can actually supplement fluoride for the benefits of teeth in a few minutes if you'd like. But this is something that I would not be concerned about as a citizen.
WSSC has said that their water is still clean, it is safe for use, and that this should not, to your point, possess any challenges there. However, they have said that 0.7 milligrams per liter is the safest level for our water, and yet this is almost reduced to half there. So is there a sense that it could just be 0.4?
Well, there's some people that have a sense that it should be 0.0, actually. And so the state of Utah and state of Florida have actually decided that. They banned the addition of fluoride in the drinking water. Fluoride is a voluntary measure that is recommended, generally speaking. 70% of Americans have fluoride in their water. 30% of Americans don't have fluoride in their water. So the data, I think, on this is pretty clear, is that getting fluoride to the teeth is beneficial for some strengthening the prevention of cavities. That's why it's particularly important for children. But once you become of an age of adulthood, there's very marginal, if any, impact or benefit to it. So the way to solve this, if you're worried about fluoride in your drinking water, you're worried about it going from 0.7 to 0.4, as a dad, I wouldn't be, especially because of the temporary measure. The reality is that you can simply supplement by using a fluoridated toothpaste, having your kids brush morning and night. Using a fluoridated mouth rinse works great. That's fantastic. If you're really concerned about it, I'd ask your dentist. Dentists can apply a fluoridated veneer. It's kind of like a gel-like substance, sits on your teeth for a few minutes, then it's removed, and that solves it. And ideally, really what you want is the fluoride getting to your teeth, but not getting into your body. So using things like toothpaste, mouth rinses, fluoridated veneers, those are all really great ways to get fluoride. Drinking water is not an ideal mechanism by which we should be getting fluoride in our water. It's just a way to make sure that it gets to everybody.
Yeah, and of course, to your point, this has been largely politicized in places like Florida, where they're down to 0 here because it's not necessary for ingestion. It's more just on the surface of the teeth where you need it to prevent cavities, etc., tooth decay. Let's talk about the potential here for this to be a prolonged situation in the Middle East, which is very plausible. What happens and how should the consumer react, or should we react at all if and when could there be the possibility that WSSC, for example, says, listen, we have no fluoride, we cannot put it into our water supply?
Well, for sure, that's a possibility. And I think that, one of the things that we learned in COVID and we're learning now with this conflict in the Middle East and relearning, and we'll continue to relearn, is that global supply chains are so interrelated that there's going to be an impact once there's a supply chain disruption. Even if it's 6,000 miles away, it's eventually going to make its way to the United States and to every corner of the United States. And so, one of the best things that we could do is really take measures into our own hands, which is why even if fluoridated water goes down to 0 in the counties that are affected, there are already states where this is existing. There's 30% of Americans that don't have fluoride in their water already. The way to solve that, if you want fluoride in your kids' teeth in particular, which as a dad, I did and I do want that, then it's simply a matter of making sure that you buy toothpaste with fluoride in it. Same with mouth rinses. And so very simple fix. This is not something, there's many things that I am concerned about with their drinking water in the United States, levels of lead, PFAS, microplastics, pharmaceuticals, herbicides, those things I'm very concerned with. fluoride and seeing this small reduction or even a 40% reduction of this is not something that I'd be worried about, particularly in an interim measure. I'd solve it by doing the things that we talked about.
Raz, thank you. We appreciate it.
Great seeing you. Thank you.
Same. We'll be right back.